There are days in everyone's life that are momentous and life-altering. Days when all of your life experiences are condensed into one decision. Today is that day for me. To have so many of my friends present with me on this day exceeds my ability to express my appreciation and my gratitude to all of you. My wife Sandra, my family, and I invite you to join us on a great adventure, a quest to become elected the governor of the great state of Georgia. Most of you know my wife Sandra. She's been my partner for almost 43 years. Not bad for a blind date. She's really the true politician in our family. Her smile is infectious, and I believe she qualifies for being called lovable. I just struggle to be likable. Our oldest and only son, Jason, and his wife, Denise, and their children, Fallon and Noah and Dawson, are here with us today, and I'll ask my grandchildren to wave their hands. And as you know, Jason and his family live here in Hall County, and he's involved in another form of public service. One of our three daughters, Carrie, and her husband, Clint Wilder, and our youngest grandchild, Ethan, who live in Habersham County, are also with us today. Our oldest daughter, Mary Emily, and her husband, Greg Obradovich, who live in Atlanta, and their two granddaughters of ours, Rose Emily and Cordelia, weren't able to be with us today. Mary Emily is actually getting off of an airplane in Atlanta and wasn't time for her to get here, but they certainly will be on the campaign trail with us, and you'll like to meet my other two grandchildren on that occasion. Our youngest daughter, Katie, and her husband, Chris Wright, are both actors, and they are engaged in a production in North Carolina, so they couldn't be with us today either. Most of you know me from my involvement here in this Hall County and Gainesville community, but I have many parts of Georgia that have impacted my life. Most of my relatives are from Bullock County in Statesboro. I was born in Millen, Georgia. The only reason was they didn't have a hospital in Scriven County, which is where my father was the principal of an elementary school there. We moved from there to Sandersville in Washington County when I was 3 years old. And I lived what I consider the formative years of my life there. And I am pleased to see some of my good friends who were with me from kindergarten through high school who have made the trip to be with us from Washington County today. Thank you so very much for being here. I graduated from undergraduate and law school at Mercer University in Macon, Georgia, and some of my good friends from my college days have also made the effort to be with us on this occasion. Thank you for being here as well. Having been commissioned as an officer in the United States Army through the ROTC program at Mercer University, I went on active duty and I think fortunately spent most of my Army career at another place in Georgia, Fort Gordon in Augusta. That's where Jason was born, was in an old World War II military hospital there. And I was discharged, and my wife says I have to say when I was honorably discharged, I came here to live with you in the Hall County and Gainesville community. I have, as you can tell, many relatives and many friends who are scattered throughout this state. In this campaign, I'm going to depend on them as I depend on you. Spread the message and get us elected to this office. Friends, you know that our state and our nation are in the midst of difficult economic times. Hard times can also bring special opportunities, especially to governments. You know, in good times, government tends to expand and add new programs. In hard times, you have to cull the unnecessary and strengthen the essentials. That's why America is the leader in the world. Our people are sturdy and independent, and it's time we reclaimed that heritage. For our state to be able to attract new jobs for our citizens, we must educate and train our young people better than our neighbors. One of the most important factors that most companies consider when they decide where to locate is the quality of the schools that their employees' children will be able to attend. My parents and Sandra's parents were both public school teachers in the state of Georgia. Sandra was also a middle school teacher. I understand the challenges faced by classroom teachers, and I'll listen to their opinions. I believe we must restore the joy to teaching. And we must rid the teacher of burdens that serve no useful purpose. The state cannot achieve the success that we seek if we continue to allow 30% of our children to drop out of our school system. Sociologists tell us that we can predict the number of prison beds we will need in this state based on the scores of third graders. I want us to be able to use those statistics to determine how many college classrooms we will need, not prison beds. Our children and their families expect and deserve the best education system we can devise. And there are many success stories here in our state. We must build on those successes. Another big challenge for our state, which is transportation. From my conversations with my friends in the General Assembly, I know that they are greatly disappointed that they could not pass major transportation legislation this year. As governor, I will work to bring the members of the Senate and the House, the DOT board, and representatives of municipalities and counties large and small all across this state together in order to resolve our transportation problems. Ideas and innovative funding can help us unclog the congestion that is stifling our economic development. Care is a subject that confronts both the state and the federal government. You know that I have served in Congress as the chairman and now the ranking member of the Health Subcommittee. I have worked and been involved in great detail with healthcare issues for many years. A workable state Medicaid program must be one that provides access and must do so by adequately compensating those who provide the health care. We must expand our trauma centers so that every citizen, no matter where they live, will have the best access to life-saving care that we can provide. Congressman who has represented most of the Lake Lanier region, I am well aware of the importance of water to our state. Time for us to stake our rightful claim to the waters, which by the bounty of God fall upon and flow through our great state. Time for the tri-state water war to be concluded. It's already lasted more than twice as long as the real war between the states. These are just a few of the many issues that will confront the next governor of the state of Georgia. I conclude with these thoughts. I want a governor who has demonstrated leadership, sound judgment, and intellectual honesty. I want a governor who will listen to you and who will embrace bold and innovative ideas. A governor who will exercise leadership to unify our citizens regardless of their political views or their location in our state. A governor who understands what it takes to raise a family and to care for aging parents. I want a governor who has a sense of humor and who would like to sit across the kitchen table and listen to what you have to say. I want a governor who acknowledges the guiding hand of God in his interference and control of the affairs of men. I want a governor who does his own thinking, writes his own speeches, and ties his own shoes, and who can deliver a speech without a teleprompter, I might add. My friends, all of these things and more, governor of this state, I've got a deal for you.